working on the building, working on the building, Lord, I'm working on the building, working for my Lord. If I was a sinner, I'll tell you what I would do. I lay down my sinful ways and work on that building too. God knows I'm working on the building, working on the building, Lord, I'm working on the building, working for my Lord. If I did not know the Lord, I tell you what I would do. I receive him deep within my heart and work on that building too. God knows I'm working on the building, working on the building, Lord, I'm working on the building, working for my Lord, working on the building, working on the building, Lord, I'm working on the building, working for my Lord, working on for my Lord, working for my Lord.
Amen to Pastor Chester and to all of my brothers and sisters in the Lord. It's a good day, and it's a good day to be with you. I'm so thankful that your pastor has given me this opportunity to come to share. I've always loved this church. I mean, through the years, even when Pastor Cook was here, I always had a relationship with Greater Beallwood. And surely when Reverend Hill was pastor, we've always been very close, been close for a long time. And continue to pray for him as he goes through. I've been through that. I didn't have two, and I didn't go through cardiac arrest, but I had one, and they gave me up. Yeah, my doctor said to another doctor, let him go. And the other doctor said, no, I'm going to do what I can for him. So the one who said, I'm going to do what I can for him is my doctor now. Hey. Yeah, I'm thankful to God for that. Hey, my brother Seabrook, that's my buddy. Man, you sang pretty good for old man who used to have an earring in his ear. The first time I saw him, I asked Reverend Hill, I said, Reverend Hill, who is that old Negro with that earring in his ear? And we kid about it all the time. I saw him the other day at where did I see you, Bubba? At Antioch, last Sunday. And I said, Bubba, where's the earring? So it's good to see you. This is what we call Black History Month. And what I'm going to do today, it's probably going to be a teaching experience for the younger people here in the church, and for the older people, it's going to be a reminder. I'm going to read from the 20th chapter of Exodus, and I'm just going to read just a portion of the second verse. And it reads, I am the Lord thy God who brought you. That's all I want to say. I am the Lord thy God who brought you. And I want to talk about, look where he's brought you from. Now, I'm quite aware that you don't end a sentence with an adverb. But that's how we often say those words. Look where he brought me from. God has a right to remind us from whence he's brought us. He constantly, throughout the Old Testament, reminded Israel that he had brought her out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. He reminds Israel how he led her and kept her in his care, and as my foreparents would say, and in his keeping. He sent her a leader whose name was Moses, who acted on behalf of God to free God's people from Egyptian bondage. God reminded them of how he brought them, how when they didn't have anything to eat, he fed them manna. He reminded them of when they wanted meat, he gave them quail. When they were not sure of how they would be led, he led them by a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of cloud by day. God brought them from a mighty long way. Even when they got to the Red Sea, God parted the water, or he congealed the water on either side to let them go across on dry land. And while Moses was up in Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments, Israel decided to cast herself before another lover that she had made from metal, called the golden calf. But God still loved Israel, and he brought her and he kept her, and he made promises to her that he never, ever broke a promise that he gave to Israel. Now, our history is very similar to the history of Israel. God has been good to this country. Now, I want to talk about a little bit of how God has brought this nation. See, when the Pilgrims came to America, they didn't come to just any old place. They came to a land crisscrossed with navigable rivers and fertile valleys. They came to a land of plenty, a land that had natural resources. They came to a land that could take care of the people. They came to a good land. Not only did they come to a good land, but God kept them. And I often thank God that since the War of 1812, no foreign enemy has ever walked on the shores of America. Never walked on these mundane shores. God has been good to America. While most of the nations of the world are cramped, we have elbow room in America. I was riding not out on Macon Road the other day, and I looked around and I said, boy, I didn't know it was this much vacant land still in the city. We have elbow room. We can move. We are not crowded in America, while other nations are stacked on top of each other. God has been mighty, mighty good to us. Mighty good to us. Kept us. Holding us in the hollow of his own hand. Keeping us from dangers seen and unseen. Even on 9/11, God still kept us. That could have been a tremendous disaster, but God kept us. Kept the damage and the lives to a minimum. God keeps on keeping us. And we got to start showing some appreciation to God for how he has kept this nation, for how he has kept this land. We got to show God that not only do we appreciate what he's done for us, but we got to show how we appreciate what he's done for the people by our coming together as a nation and standing up for righteousness. God has brought us from a mighty, mighty long ways. And then God has brought us as a people. I'm talking about us black folk. He's brought us as a people. We were brought here in chains, unwillingly brought here. We were a free people, a royal people. The very foundation of civilization began in our land. We were brought here, cramped on slave ships, brought here, more dying than arriving. We were brought here. But God took care of us. God has taken care of us as a people. He has held us in his own hand. When he brought us here, we were slaves, worked for nothing. Men killed, women raped, children misused and abused. But God kept us. God kept us by holding us in the hollow of his own hand. And oftentimes we forget from whence God has brought us. I can tell you a whole lot of things that God has done for us as a people that we probably forgotten. Brought us here and we came through that period of slavery. Then we went in the period of segregation. Where we were ostracized, and criticized, and mistreated, counted as a part of a man, part of a woman. But God kept us through that period. Kept us through that period. And then he brought us what I call relative freedom. We were not completely free. We were segregated. I don't know about y'all. Some of y'all don't even know what that is. I know what it is to be relegated to the back. I know what it is to go to school where my books came from a white school that were tattered and torn. I know what it is not to have a science laboratory in school. I know what it is not to have band uniforms, band instruments. I know what it is. But I thank God. I have always said this. I thank God that God gave us some men and women, teachers during that period who cared about us. Cared about us to the extent that they don't let me call you mama, boy. Cared about us. Cracked some knuckles. Spanked some behind. Encouraging us to get what was being taught so we could rise from where we were to where God wanted us to be. God has brought us a mighty long way. God knew how to bring us. Y'all know anything about government cheese? Y'all know anything about seeing the chickens in the daytime and the stars at night? Come on, y'all. We lived in houses where you can look up and see the chickens up under the house in the daytime and look up through the ceiling and see the stars at night. God brought us outside facilities. You don't hear me. God brought us. God has kept us. And God will continue to keep us as long as we keep our hand in God's hand. Now, I'm mighty afraid that we have, as a people, are forgetting about the God who keeps us, the God who has brought us. Kill each other, ostracize each other, steal from each other, mistreat each other, disrespect each other. God is calling us to a higher height of respect, a higher height of Christendom, a higher height of spirituality. Oh, we used to know how to call on God because that's all we have. But what we don't understand now is that that's all we have now. That's right. Does not matter how much you have accumulated materially. You ain't got nothing, and you ain't got, and I'm saying it just like I want to say it, you ain't got nobody but God. Who else will hold you when nobody else cares? Who else will rock you when you're hurting? Who else will keep you safe in dangerous environments? Who else will feed you when you're hungry and clothe you when you're naked? Who else but the God that has brought us? He's brought us from a mighty, 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 mighty. Let me say it one more time. Mighty long way. Oh, he's brought us as a people. It does not appear yet what we shall be. But God is still working on us. If we would let him. He's still working on us. Look how he's worked on us. We're engineers, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're scientists, we're presidents. Come on, y'all. Huh? Professors, nurses, and anything you can think of, we are some of that because God has kept us and God has brought us. And I don't know about you, but every now and then I have to say thank you. Every now and then I look from whence he's brought me. And I have to say thank you. And maybe I'm getting into the next part because God has brought us as individuals. I don't know about you, but he's brought me a mighty long way. Born in the ghetto down on 2nd Avenue and 5th Street. In a big old 2-story house, folk thought we had something. Yes, we had something, 14-foot ceilings and froze every winter. We had something. But God kept us. God kept us. Daddy was an alcoholic. Mama had 8 children and was responsible for taking care of every one of them. But God kept us. God kept us. I never will forget. I started riding a bicycle for the grocery store when I was 8 years old to help supplement what was coming in the house. But God gave me strength and courage and to keep on keeping on. Daddy drunk up a broom factory. Daddy had the only only business on Broad Street, but sewer, and drank that up. But God still kept us. And he's still bringing us from whence we come. Has he ever brought you? I can't hear you. Has he brought you? Are you sure? He's brought us from a long, long, long ways. From the rocking of the cradle to my present situation. God has brought us. And I often say to folk, look where he brought you from. I don't know about you, but he's brought me a mighty, mighty long way. From down to Fifth Avenue School to Spencer in the 8th grade. Through Spencer and through seminary. But not only has he brought me educationally, but he's brought me intellectually. He's placed the mind of Jesus in me so I can think like I ought to think, do what I need to do, and be for others what I need to be. He's brought me from a mighty, mighty long way. I can think every now and then of what God has done that I didn't deserve. That's what you call, That's what you call grace. Getting something that you don't deserve. He always gives us grace. And he gives grace to those who remember from whence he's brought us. I look at the world as it is today, and I see all of the calamity, all of the destruction, all of the separation, all of the sin, and all of the shame. I look at how our leaders are. Nothing is sacred anymore. We can do what we want to do when we get ready to do it, and folk will still appreciate us. But not only will they appreciate us, they'll elect us to the highest office in the world. But we got to learn how to thank God for how he's brought me. I don't know about you, but I'm getting to the point in my life. I know I don't have many years left. I'll be 82 years old this year. And I know my days are getting short. My steps are getting short. And my eyes are getting dim. But I recognize what God is doing for me and what he's allowing me to do in my old age. You don't hear me. That's why every now and then I fall down on my knees and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You brought me a mighty, mighty long way. You brought me from the rocking of my cradle. Every now and then I had to cry sometime, but you come by and wipe every tear from my eyes. Every now and then I will stumble, but you'll come by and be a leaning post for me. Every now and then, great God, you come by and whisper in my ear that every little old thing is going to be all right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Any witnesses in the house, do you know what the Lord has done? Have you tried him? Have you really tried him? How many of you know what the Lord has done? How many of you know that he's brought you through? How many of you know that he's set you free? How many of you know that he's opened your door? How many of you know that the Lord is still alive? How many of you know that the Lord can fix? You ought to get on your feet and praise him. How many of you know that he's going to bring you to heaven one day? How many of you know that the Lord is never late? How many of you know that he's always on time? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. You brought me from a mighty long way. God bless you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I often think of the song that we sung earlier today. We call it the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. Till it in heaven ring. Ring with the harmony, the melody of harmonies of liberty. I often think about that part that said, when hope unborn had died. You don't hear me. Hope died in the womb. Never gave birth to hope. But God kept us. God kept us. But then you go to the last verse. That's really a prayer. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. You don't hear me, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met you. He's brought us, hasn't he? Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shattered beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our God, true to our God, true to our God, true to our God. Beallwood, you got to stay true to your God, for he's able, yes he is, he's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above you can ask or think. No matter how far you've come, he still got some more for you to do. Shattered beneath thy hand, may we